Hi, I'm Junior Renna with Action Hobbies Kingsville. Today we're going to be setting up the AHK Rebel. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the box. Today, for demonstration purposes, I will be using the JR12X. It's the exact same setup on every other radio that's in the manual, be it the 6i, the 7, 7S. I will be using the Spectrum AR 6100E receiver, which every single quad is tested with and test flown. We'll be putting that there. I will be using the AHK 2200 LiPo battery. Fits very well in there. It's actually designed to fit in the quad very tightly and snugly. This is the way it looks like coming out of the box. We're going to remove it from the packaging. It's actually clipped in there pretty good. There we go. The first thing we're going to do with the Rebel is we're going to gently pull up on the back here and lift the body up to release it. It's held on there with Velcro. What you see there exposed, we have our KK 2.0 board. We have 5 loose leads. Okay, with your little Velcro tabs attached, peel the sticky side off. And what we do is we take the AHK battery with the lead facing backwards, facing towards you, the connection lead facing towards you, and you slide the battery in behind the quad like so, and press down, and that locks in your Velcro on your battery, so it's nice and snug. So the next time you pull it out, you just pull on the leads, the battery comes out, you can slide it back in, your Velcro tabs align, and it locks in place. Okay, our next step after we've secured the battery with the Velcro tabs, we are going to move on to installing the receiver. This is a 6-channel receiver. For this demonstration I'm using the AR 6100E. You could technically use any receiver, but if you get the ARF, it does not come with a receiver, you pick your own. If you get the bind and fly, it does come with the 6100 installed and ready to go. All it requires is binding to your transmitter and the changing of servo reverse. What we're going to do here is we have 5 leads on the quad coming off the KK board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all labeled. What we're going to do is 1 is going to be installed into aileron. 2 is going to be installed into elevator. 3 is going to be your throttle. Like so. 4 is your rudder. And 5 is going to be your gear channel, which is going to control the self-level function of the Rebel. Okay, now the desired mounting position that we recommend is right here up front. Easy access, kind of tucks away nicely. I'm not going to mount it permanently right now, but just Velcro it right up there and that's where it'll sit. Nice and neat. Now that you have that mounted, if your receiver is not already bound to your transmitter, that's the first thing you're going to want to do is bind it to your transmitter. You have to follow your transmitter instructions, be it whether you're using Futaba, Spectrum, High-Tech. Use their instructions, bind your receiver. And what we're going to do, if you have the ARF, you have to set your transmitter to a new model. So you scroll through and you pick yourself a new model, brand new model, under acro or airplane mode. Once you have selected the model, it's bound to your Rebel, you're going to have to go into servo reverse right here. You can see your servo reverse switches. This is the only thing you're really going to have to set. Again, you're going to have to read your instructions for be it your High-Tech or your Futaba to get into your servo reverse, and you can get in the manual, they will give you the servo reverse functions for all your Spectrum radios and JR radios. The Futabas are very similar, but it's going to be as simple as like JR Is going to be throttle is under normal, aileron is reverse, elevator is reverse, rudder is normal, and gear is reverse, just as an example, but the settings are in the manual. Follow those settings. These have all been set, so I'm good to go that way. All my servo reverses are where they're supposed to be. So what we do at that point is we are going to power up the Rebel. So we take the EC3 leads right here and we plug them in. And you are going to get, now, you've got your tones, which means everything is good. Okay, now that you powered everything up, you see it's in safe mode. You see self level is off. You got an OK function there stating everything's good, and you got a battery voltage, which is good. Now, what you're going to do once everything's hooked up and you got your servo reverses all switched, and if you're not 100% sure if your servo reverses are proper, if you're using an off-brand radio or something that's not in the manual, it's very easy to check. You can go to this menu button right here, click menu, and you get a list. And you got up, down, and you just scroll down to where it says receiver test. Hit enter, and you can see all your channels there. So you go to your transmitter and look at throttle function. I'm going to go full throttle. It says 100%. You go all the way down, 0. If that function is backwards where you're full throttle and it says 0, you've got your servo reverse for that channel wrong. So you got to flip that around. And we'll go full rudder to the left, it says left. Full rudder to the right, says right. Now we're going to go elevator forward, and I am pushing it forward, pulling elevator all the way back. It says back right on the screen. We're going to go aileron left. It does say aileron left. We're going to go aileron right, and it does say aileron right. So now we know that our servo reverses are all in proper order. It's just a quick check just to make sure that everything's right before you try to fly the Rebel. Okay, now we're going to go back. There are for your initial setup, that's the only thing. If you really want to test it, just to make sure your settings and transmitter is right, that's the only thing you will have to touch on the KK board if you're unsure. Later on, once you've gotten used to it in self-level mode and the regular flying mode, you will be able to increase it to full aerobatic status. Just by coming down the list here, and you go to stick scaling, which is in the manual. Click on stick scaling, and the values to make it fully aerobatic are in the manual. It'll be roll 75, pitch 75, yaw 90, throttle 90. But those settings are in the manual, and I do not recommend turning these settings up until you're used to flying the Rebel. Okay, it will make it extremely sensitive. So we back out of this just by hitting back, we're back in safe mode. Okay, now that we've got all we've tested our receiver, made sure our servo reverses are proper, we're going to power it back up. Now the Rebel is going to power up in safe mode. The motors are going to do their tones, which means we're good to go. Now to arm the Rebel, the throttle's got to be in a fully down position and full right rudder. You will get a tone, a red LED, and the screen will read armed. The quad is now ready to go. The throttle is going to be operational. Okay, we're going to do a little motor test. Just give it a little bit of throttle. Have to arm it. Give it a little bit of throttle. And we're just going to check our motors. Your motor 1 and 3 should be spinning clockwise. Motor 2 and 4 should be spinning counterclockwise. Okay, check. Everything is good. Okay, the next step for the Rebel is to install the props. So you want to make sure you power everything down. Never ever put the props on while this thing's powered up. Okay, we are going to install prop number 1. The props are colored. If you have a blue Rebel with the blue LEDs, it'll come with blue props for the front for orientation. So we're going to go ahead and install this. You can see the props are labeled by number 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to install the prop in coordination with the number that's on the motor, because they do use left hand and right hand props. So what we're going to do is just loosen off the little adapter here on top, and we're going to slide that right down, make sure it's sat all the way down, and we're just going to snug that up by hand. And then in the box there's a prop tightening tool. Just slide that through the cap and just give her a little snug. Make sure your props are tight, please. Give it a good twist, and there we go. Once you are done installing the props, you have to take the decals, the numbers off. The props are balanced out of the box. Any new props you add on must be balanced, but these little numbers will throw the balance off. So we'll pull that off. These numbers have to come off. You repeat that process all the way around. Now that we've got all our props on, we are ready to take the Rebel for a little fly. What we're going to do is turn on the transmitter. We are going to plug in our battery. Make sure your throttle's down. Stay clear of the props all the time. You do get a little bit of movement on initial startup. We are in safe mode. We are ready to drop the canopy on. The canopy is just held on with Velcro. It's been tested extensively. It stays on there really well. It supports the weight of the quad there. And we're ready to go. Take her out for a little flight. I'll show you what it does. Okay, before we take the Rebel for a flight, one quick thing. Once it's armed, now it's live, you hear that intermittent beeping. That is a self-disarm function. So if you let the quad sit there for 15 to 20 seconds, it will automatically shut down. You will have to rearm it. Just a safety feature. If you walk away or you get tied up with something, it will shut itself down so it doesn't take off and go crazy. Alright, let's go take it for a little fly. I will disarm before I walk with it, and we're ready to go. Regular mode, let's put in self level. That's the beginner mode right there. That's self level. No stick movement, just hovering there. If you're banking to the left, it'll bank to the left and slowly come back to level. Now we don't have to worry about bringing it back to center or down to it. This flight is recommended. Very soft, docile movement just to learn the quad, learn the Rebel. Slow movement, very fast movements from self-level, very fast forward flight can cause it to oscillate really fast. So you get it going quicker than this. Self-level mode. We're going to go back. This is just regular mode. Not turned up for aerobatics as of yet. But very, very agile. That would be an intermediate, advanced, more flying, and then we can crank it up some more to do stationary front flip, side flip, large loop, tight loop, whatever you want. The LEDs give you a nice sense of direction. Very bright, you flow this thing at night, easy to see. Obviously night flying is for the advanced pilot.
thing gets itself.
That is in self-level mode, just full rudder, keep it on the throttle, stays right there. Self-level mode is nice for cameras as well. As long as you get it nice and smooth. Take off and take off. Got lots of power. And back to on. When you land the Rebel, bring it down like this. And make sure you do hit the disarm. To disarm, you full throttle down and to the left. As to where arming is full throttle down and to the right. It's now disarmed. I can go full throttle. Nothing happens. We are safe to pick it up.